You don't have a handicap, you got a bad attitude. There are many skillful people who are totally incompetent. What is missing is the will. It is people like you who not only ruin their own lives, but they also ruin the family's life too. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently.
Hello and welcome to the Dreamcatchers Show Season 2, where we capture inspiring stories one dream at a time. Hosted by your very own Shalima Motial. Powered by The Resilient Investor. Associate sponsor Ritika, your health coach. Media partners Crazy Talk. Knowledge partners Global Indian International School. Restaurant partners Olivia, Noah and Cake. Supported by JQ Yachts. Hair and makeup by Chandni Sahu. Guys, I'm thrilled, beyond excited, honored and blessed to have someone on our show today whose words have inspired millions across the world. Mr. Shiv Khera is not just a best-selling author, but a motivational speaker whose message of positivity, perseverance and personal growth has transformed countless lives. Through his insightful books and dynamic talks, he empowers people to unlock their true potential and create a life filled with success and happiness. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Shiv Khera to the show. Welcome, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Let's start with your journey right from the beginning. All right. So you shared your journey that you started washing cars in Canada to becoming this best-selling author and motivational speaker. Now, what were the key moments or decisions that transformed your life during those early years?
Well, I originally come from a business family in India. Our coal mines got nationalized. Now, I didn't create them, I inherited them. And we came on the street right after that. Then I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money and I failed in all 3. So eventually then I left India, went to US, initially went to Toronto and started life washing cars door to door for about a year and a half. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance, which in my opinion was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Wow.
Why do I say that? Because, see, selling life insurance is one of the toughest sales in the world. Much different than selling any products. You sell your car, your clothes, your home, or something you can touch and feel, but life insurance you can't. It's only concept. You're telling them, well, something will happen and X you will get so much. The bottom line is, I used to make 10 or 15 appointments and presentations to make one sale. That means 9 out of 10 times I was rejected before I got one sale. And most people, when they are rejected this many times, they take it personally, they get demotivated and they quit.
Right.
Well, within 3 months, my manager called to fire me for non-performance. I told my manager, I'm not the educated person. I'm not a doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant. I'm a BCom, 3rd division, failed my 10th. That's my academics. And I said, how do you expect performance out of me? But that day, somebody spoke very harshly to me. And he said, you shut up and listen to me. He said, you don't have a handicap, you got a bad attitude. And he said, it is people like you who not only ruin their own lives, but they also ruin the family's life too. And he said, do you know who has a handicap in life? He said the doctor, engineer, attorney, accountant, they all have handicaps. Boy, I said, I never heard that one. How do they have handicaps? He said, go check out all over the world. It is generally true. Exceptions different. They all have chosen the field. They're stuck.
Right.
And he said, you haven't chosen your field. Don't you see the world is open to you?
Beautiful.
I said, Joe, I never thought from that point of view. I left this office that day, about 47 years ago. That evening, there was a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book, Power of Positive Thinking. I attended a program. That day, he gave a prayer called Serenity Prayer, which in my opinion is the gist of life. He said, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. Now, there are many things in life that we just cannot change. We live in the past out of regret or guilt or whatever the reason happens to be, but it keeps pulling us down. And he said, problem is a sign of life. It's going to happen. So long as we are alive, we shall have problems. The day we have no problem, we'd be dead. But he said, there are many things we cannot change. What we cannot change, let us accept it graciously, not grudgingly. For example, I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born. So it says, what I cannot change, let me accept it graciously. Right. Because many times in life, we keep fighting the things we just cannot change. And we bring stress into our lives, and we become unproductive, paralyzed, and create stress. But if I can change, then give me the courage to do it. Beautiful. And wisdom to know the difference what I can and what I cannot. So when I wrote my book, You Can Live While You Are Alive, I took this thought 2 steps forward. And I wrote in my book that life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but not really. See, how is life full of choices? If I ill-treat you, I've chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? If I exercise every day, I've chosen to invite good health, haven't I? If I eat too much every day, I've chosen to be obese, haven't I? And if I tell lies, I've chosen to lose my credibility, haven't I? This sentence is very important. We are all free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice after that. It's all over.
That's right, because I was just thinking about this. You lost your job. Instead of going home, you chose to go attend the seminar. So that's a choice you made which transformed your life.
Yeah.
And how did you then think of attending a seminar instead of going and looking for a job or asking for help?
Okay. Now, how is life full of compromises? See, as somebody said, well, in life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose, how we play the game. Now, many times I'm asked, Mr. Khera, people who are successful, don't they make mistakes? And people who fail, don't they do positive things in life? And my answer is that people who are successful, they do make mistakes. But remember, making a mistake once in a while does not bring failure.
Right.
Repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. And doing something positive once in a while does not bring success either. Repeating the positive behavior again and again is what brings success. Series of positive choices in life is called success, and series of negative choices in life is called failure. Now, after going through Dr. Peel's program, I went back to my office. I went back to my manager and I said, Joe, give me one more shot. I won't let you down because of my effort. He looked at me and he says, Shiv, that's not your small one, that's your big one. And he said, I'll let you stay here only if you make a commitment not to me, but to yourself. That day I made a commitment. And that was one of the turning points in my life. And he withdrew the papers. And that year I went ahead, sold close to $1 million.
Whoa.
Next year, 3 million. The year after, 5 million. And moved on to the US. I got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984 and started the New Jersey operation with no clients. And I sold my company with close to 500 clients. What was the learning? See, look, till I attended Dr. Peel's program, I kept failing all my life and kept blaming the whole world for my failure, not realizing that I was my own biggest problem. Nothing changed outside. Something changed inside here, and the direction in my life changed. That's one major lesson. And 2, when my manager said to me, you shut up and listen to me, that taught me one major thing, that sometimes in life you got to be unkind to be kind. And then the 3rd lesson I learned was that all our appointments were made 1 week in advance. And I learned one thing. If you wake up in the morning and you start thinking, what do I have to do today? You are unemployed with a job. And more than 90% people, they don't know where they're going. They have no appointments. And lastly, I was on 100% commission.
Oh.
I wouldn't get any money if I didn't sell.
No basic salary.
No, I got a draw, all right, but that was against my commission.
Right.
But I saw in my company, there were some people who were getting salaries, but they were not doing the job. That's where I learned a major lesson in my life 47 years ago. See, there's a world of a difference between making money versus earning money. Making money is criminal, earning money is spiritual.
Okay, explain.
Okay, when you earn money, you put your energy and ethics behind it. Huge difference.
Right.
And sadly today, most people want to make money, very few want to earn it. And that's one major thing. And this was backed up by a survey in the United States by Gallup. And they found out that 63% of people who go to work, they're disengaged. Means they don't do their job. And additional 24% are actively disengaged. Means they make sure the others also don't do their job. That leaves only 13% of people who go to work actually work. People go to work and they spend 2, 3, even 4 hours per day on their personal social media during working hours. Tell me, is that what you're getting paid for? We need to understand basics right back again. And sadly, we have lost our basics. So this is really what we are talking here.
Interesting. So when did you write your first book and what motivated you to write it?
So it was about 25 years ago.
Right.
But it took me about another 20 years before writing. And thoughts used to come in. I used to jot down somewhere in the restaurant, get a napkin or write down and dump all these things. And 20 years of this going on, eventually I sat down with my secretary. I said, you sit down, now let me dictate now. Now, I had a whole box of little napkins and all those things here. How do you put them together?
Right.
So that's not the way people write books. But I had in mind that I would write an international bestseller. That I knew for sure. Because that was one of my goals almost 50 years ago. When I was washing cars, I still had in mind after attending Dr. Peel's program, because he was a best-selling author.
Right.
And he changed life. And I said, well, I got to do it. But how I did it maybe was the tougher way. But anyway, I did it.
Right.
What motivated me is that, look, somebody in life showed me direction. Had they not shown me direction, probably I would be washing cars even today.
Right.
So my point I'm trying to make is that my only way of expressing my gratitude towards them is to take their message forward to the next generation. And that's all. And really, if you look at all success principles in life, all success, including all management principles, by teaching expensive consultants, they're all motherhood truths.
Right.
And that's really what inspired me to write the book. And before I wrote the book, when I saw my own life change, personally, professionally, socially, everywhere, and I said, this is time to give back. So I started volunteering my time in the US, in the maximum security prisons and jails in the US.
Oh.
Maximum security prisons is not small-time criminals. They're big-time murderous rapists. Oh, huge guys. So I started teaching attitude self-esteem programs, and I saw life change. And I said, boy, it's time to take it now to the real world, the corporate world. And that's how it started.
So my next question would be, what are some common misconceptions people have about motivation and success that you aim to correct through your talks and books?
Okay. People think with positive thinking, you can do everything in life. A great boxer, before he used to go into the ring, he used to psych himself by saying, I'm the greatest. He used to walk into the ring and look at his opponent and say, you've got the title, but I'm the champion. Now that means what? Before he ever became the champion inside the ring, he became the champion outside. Now what does it tell us? With positive thinking, everything is possible. This is what people feel, that everything is possible. This is totally a myth, totally absurd, totally incorrect. Now, I don't care how positive I am. I cannot do a bypass surgery and have you live, you'd be dead.
Yes.
Look, positive thinking does not guarantee success. positive thinking with positive efforts and actions increases our probability of success.
Beautiful. Right.
One. Now, I addressed probably 50, 60 CHROs for the top companies in Vietnam a few years ago. And one person came up and said, look, we got a skill gap. I said, what do you mean you got a skill gap? What's the problem? I said, there are people in our company, but the skills are missing. I said, why did you hire them? I said, ma'am, do you have a skill gap or a competency gap? She said, oh, what's the difference? I said, you tell me. You are an HR head. What is the difference, skill and competence? They got lost. See, skill is an ability. Competence is ability along with the willingness and the desire to do the job.
Right.
There are many skillful people who are totally incompetent. What is missing is the will. They have the skills. So I said, ma'am, wait a minute, think about it. There are people who have the skills, otherwise you wouldn't even hire them. Oh, yeah. I said, what's missing is the will.
Right.
Look, to succeed in life, both are important, skill and will. But between the two, will is a little more important than skill.
Right.
Why is it more important? See, look at this. Greatest legend in the world on martial art, Bruce Lee. He had no skill when he started, but will was great. Michael Phelps, swimmer, created the world records. He had no skill when he started, but the will was great. See, it is the will that takes a person further up. Now, we need to understand what is will. And you hear these big names and you get impressed. But you need to also understand, Bruce Lee, one leg was shorter than the other by 1 inch. His eyesight was -10.
Whoa.
He couldn't see his opponent without lenses. But Bruce Lee practiced 5,000 punches every day. So what does it tell us? Hard work will beat talent anytime, every time, if talent does not want to work hard.
Beautiful. That is such a great message for the youth of today.
Yeah, because you know what they've learned? Don't work hard, work smart. Look, there is no substitute to hard work. You got to work hard and you got to work smart, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, sir, your new book, for which you've come to Singapore, Live While You're Alive, focuses on stress as a silent killer. What inspired you to tackle this subject?
Stress all over the world has gone up by few 100%. 400% at least, some I've studies say that.
Right.
And the cost of stress is heavy. Close to 1 billion people in the world are facing stress. Many doctors say that many sicknesses are psychosomatic, which is related to stress. Medical doctors themselves are suffering from stress, and many of them have thought of committing suicide, not realizing that stress is normal, it is natural, it is unavoidable, and cannot be delegated. We have to face our own stress. Important thing is, see, if stress we handle properly, we break new records. And if we don't, we break down. So think about it. Is stress positive, important for us to go through life? Answer is yes. An athlete at the Olympics, or anywhere for that matter, when they are ready to compete, are they under stress? Answer is yes. If they were not under stress, they can't perform. A public speaker, when they go and make a presentation before people, are they under stress? Answer is yes. If they didn't have it, they wouldn't be able to perform. So stress is important. It helps us perform. And unlike the reason why I wrote this book, because most books are talking about do meditation, take deep breath, do this, and do yoga, and do this. Look, all those things are important. But the way I see it, none of them work if you don't have the right attitude. I'll share with you an example. John was going to the office. He had a fender bender accident, came out angry, mad, and he shouted at the other person. He says, you ruined my day, you ruined my car. And came to the office, he was still mad and angry. And what a bad day I've had. Then the whole office got negative vibes. His secretary got negative wise. She was under stress. Now her quality and quantity of output came down. In the evening, she went home. And her son was all enthusiastically ready to play with his mom. And mom said, look, I'm under stress now, get out. And she sent him off. Now this boy also sat quietly on one side. And they had a little puppy dog who wanted to come and play with this little boy. And the little boy kicked him and said, get out, I'm under stress. Look at where it started and look at how it went. And look at the ripple effect, how far it goes.
Right.
And this is one behavior. But there's another guy, Steve, who had a car accident. The car was rolled on 3 times. He came out of the window and said, "My, what a lucky day. The good Lord must be riding with me today." And he came out, went to the office and said, "My, what a lucky day." And he said, "Time to celebrate." And he created all positive energies right there. And every quality, quantity of output went up. Now, probably look at John and Steve. They both had the accident. Maybe the accident was unavoidable. Look at how one reacted, the other responded.
Beautiful.
John reacted and Steve responded. This you can clarify. This is the difference between reaction and response.
Right.
But the most important thing I want to bring is that all of us can handle stress. See, I'm holding this mug here. Now, how heavy is it? Maybe 100 grams, 200 grams, no big deal. If I hold it for a minute or two, no big deal. But if I hold it for an hour, my hand will be stiff. If you want me to hold it for 2 hours, now I'll develop cramps. If you want me to hold it for 3 hours, I'll probably fall down. This will paralyze.
Right.
So what does it tell us? It also tells us one thing. You see, all through the time now to 3 hours, the weight of this mug has not changed.
Right.
That means when I hold it for a short while, no big deal, I can do it. When you hold your stress long time, now you have a problem. So now what does this tell us? All of us can handle stress. What we cannot handle is chronic stress.
Chronic stress.
What is chronic stress? When stress becomes a way of life, permanent, that's the time we break down.
Right. So tell me something, sir. The attitude you spoke about and the examples you gave of 2 men, are people born with that attitude or can they develop that attitude?
I absolutely negate this kind of a thought process. We were born that way. Tell me, do you want to get operated from a born doctor or a trained doctor? Born doctor. Born doctor, you want him? He'll show you what he can do for you.
Nice
A
example.
trained doctor.
Right.
Same thing. We learn all these things. Positive behavior, negative behavior. They are all learned traits. Integrity is a learned trait. There are some people honest, some people are dishonest. So these are all learned things. Commitment, integrity, responsibility, respect. They are all learned.
That's right.
Sadly today in our school system, pretty much all over the world, 90% of what they teach, you can't use in the real world. And 90% what we need in the real world, they don't teach. See, when I've been doing corporate training for 35 years now, and when I do corporate training, I tell them, folks, what I am doing in your organization is repair work, repairing. You prepare them in schools and colleges, and sadly they're not.
Right.
But there are some colleges who have come to us, and some of them have signed up with us also. We've created a program called Prepare Them, Don't Repair Them.
Nice.
So that's what we're really looking at bringing out. So that academy will cover many things: integrity, ethics, attitude, how to give constructive feedback and receive constructive feedback, self-esteem. All these things we're going to cover under the umbrella of You Can Win. Under the umbrella. So that's academy is coming up. Let me share one more thing.
Sure.
See, organization and countries are not built on skills. They're built on character. See, if you have a skillful doctor who lacks character, they will do useless surgeries, useless procedures. To them, a sick person is not a patient, but a target.
Right.
See, to a skillful lawyer who lacks character, A matter that can be resolved in 5 hearings will take 500 hearings. A skillful judge who lacks character will give judgments no justice. A skillful civil servant who lacks character themselves will become mafia. A skillful politician who lacks character will sell his country for money. So you see, we need to understand what builds a nation.
Right.
It is character, not skills. Are you with me?
Of course, that's beautifully said. So the book emphasizes, I'm coming back to your latest book, internal reactions rather than external circumstances. So can you give an example of how the mindset shift and can transform someone's experience of stress? How can someone practice something that they do this on a daily basis with small, bigger, then when really hell breaks loose, those kind of situations, because practice makes perfect, right? So when they're practicing that, what steps should they keep in mind?
No. I want to clarify this. This statement is totally another myth and a misnomer that practice makes perfect. It does not make perfect.
Okay.
Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice.
Okay.
Only perfect practice makes perfect. Some people keep practicing the mistakes and they become perfect in making mistakes.
Well, that's a good point.
See, one important thing is, many times people tell little lies. You practice enough little lies in life. When the big one comes, what happens? You end up telling a big lie. See, what happened? Practice does not make perfect.
Perfect
Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice.
Lovely.
See, same thing. Many times people say, this is a little thing, when the big one comes, I'll show courage. You practice cowardice enough little things in life. When the big one comes, what happens? You end up being a big coward.
Right. Absolutely.
So badly, we don't have our basics right. When we do our programs, you ask people, what's the difference between integrity and honesty? Senior people working in multinational CEOs, ask them what's the difference between integrity and honesty. Very few can tell the right difference. And then if they pass this one, then you ask them, can you have one without the other? We need our basics right. That's what our 4-day program is all about. When we do a 4-day leadership, people walk away with clarity and they walk away with an action plan. Our program runs in the morning, 9:30 till 6:30 in the evening, with 2 short breaks, and phones are switched off. We don't allow. And after 6:30 in the evening, it's not party time, it's homework. And they do it. And next to the same thing in the 3rd day and the 4th day. And every 1.5 hours, they have to write a commitment. What did you learn in the last 90 minutes? Write a commitment, what it is. And in the 4th day, you consolidate everything and walk away with a 3-year action plan. Why 3 years? If you got 3 years, you achieved all your targets, you achieved your goals, that will launch you for 30 years. Now the momentum will carry you. Go look at all the major companies. How did they do it? They had 3 great years, and then the momentum took them for 30 years. That's why it's important. But you hear so many things all around. It doesn't work. So this is all practical stuff, and that's what our 4-day program is all about.
Yeah, I'm so excited. When people face setback and rejections, how do they maintain their resilience and self-confidence, and especially initially when their business ventures fail? So maybe you could share your own journey, because you said your initial ventures failed and then you took off, right? So what was going on through your mind, and what practical measures can people now take to then carry on with resilience?
Look, resilience is a habit. There are some people who are born quitters. Born means they learn quitting. Have you noticed there are some people who are good starters, but they're never good finishers?
Right.
And this is true with many of us, including me.
Right.
We made those mistakes. They are good starters, but they're never good finishers. Why? You see, the enthusiasm works out, and they say, well, I'm motivated. They are relying on motivation. Now, motivation helps you get started, but it is discipline that continues.
Right.
See, motivation is an emotion, and emotions go up and down. Emotion is a feeling. The day I feel good, I'm motivated, I go to the gym. I don't feel like, I lie down. I do nothing. So See, motivation doesn't give you need to shift from motivation to discipline. When you see yourself, you're missing the point. You'll get up automatically. You're wasting your life. Is that what you want to be? Okay, go be it. That's fine. That's your choice. See, many times in life we say, well, I'm relaxing. You know something? Relaxation converts into procrastination. I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying in the bed, it's cozy. And gradually that relaxation converts into
Laziness,
procrastination.
procrastination.
And you push it that way. And you think you can achieve your goals in life that way? Never. So the bottom line is very clear. We need to understand what keeps us going. What motivates the motivator? Who motivates the motivator? And sadly, many times people say, can you motivate other people? I said, no, we cannot. What you can do is you can inspire others to motivate themselves. Why? Motivation is action. I can't act for you.
Right.
Inspiration is thinking. When thinking changes, it starts reflecting in behavior. And that's more lasting, more permanent, and that's what people are looking for.
These words are actually life-changing. You're right. Consistency and discipline is what keeps them going for the rest of their
Absolutely.
lives. Wow, that's lovely.
It is consistency,
right.
not the intensity. See, everywhere in life for success there are do's and don'ts.
Right.
See, that says an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It doesn't say watching TV half an hour, 1 hour a day keeps the doctor away. Bill Gates, he said till the age of 14, I didn't give my kids the iPhone or the iPad. You see, a drug dealer doesn't allow his own kids to take drugs.
Absolutely.
Look at how sad it is, but that happens. This is dual personality. These are people who should really be thrown out of the society. They're damaging the nation. And there are many motivational speakers also who talk their talk. They don't walk their talk. Many times people do ask me, Mr. Khera, do you practice 100% of what you are teaching and preaching? I said, look, I do not practice 100% as of now. But do I make effort to practice 100%? Answer is yes. Have I reached there? No, I have not reached there. It's a process.
Absolutely.
Life is a process.
Right.
See, our objective is progress, not perfection.
Right. Yes. So you often say success is a habit. So is failure. How can someone consciously cultivate success as a habit in their routine?
Well, anything you do repeatedly
Becomes
over
a
a
habit.
period of time becomes a habit. You repeat the positive behavior over and over again, that becomes a habit. Now, how long does it take? Some studies say if you practice something 21 days, 31 days, 41 days, 61 days, but you need to practice on an ongoing basis. But keep one thing in mind. Habits, and no matter what, anything we do in life, we do for two reasons. Either to gain a pleasure or to avoid a pain. See, everything in life we do for these two reasons. And that's why people start looking at it. Integrity, honesty, commitment, relationships. See, you make them as a pleasurable thing and you move on in life. When breakdown becomes painful, you stop. They need to understand what the whole thing is all about. So we have to make it, you start consciously, eventually make sure all positive behavior becomes habitual. See, if you want to think to do the right thing, you can never do it right. It must come automatic.
Right.
Why do you think you call some people just lucky? You know what? The positive behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it right, it happens right because the reflex are moving right. And some people are called unlucky. Every time, whatever they do it wrong. It happens wrong because the reflex are moving wrong. It's become a habit.
Right. And it's trainable, right? Because habits can be changed.
Absolutely. We have to learn, unlearn, learn, unlearn, and move on from there.
Lovely. So, sir, I'm sure you do a lot of leadership trainings as well, right? So, in your experience, how important is humility alongside confidence in leadership and personal growth?
You see, what is The opposite of humility, arrogance. Tell me, do you want to ever be close to anybody who is arrogant? You can't even sit in the same room. It smells of dirt. This is called self-esteem. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the way we feel about ourselves. You notice one day when we get up in the morning feeling good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better, aren't they? The reverse is true. And self-esteem is inversely related to egos. Have you seen people with egos like I know it all? What did they do? They talk down to people, don't they? They look down others, don't they? And every decision they make is more to satisfy ego than make sense. Now think about it. Why does a human being put down another human being? There are some people in this world who feel good when the other person feels bad. They feel superior when the other person feels inferior, which means they don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others
Down, right. Yeah.
This is what we are talking of. So that's what when we talked of, there are some people who show confidence to the point of arrogance. See, confidence is good, but confidence without humility amounts to arrogance. Humility does not mean you put yourself down. Absolutely not. See, people who have arrogance, they see all faults of the other person and they see only things in themselves who are good. But they don't understand that. It doesn't work that way always. So that's really where it comes down to. It's ego.
Right. So tell me something. How do you define success beyond material wealth, especially given your critique of materialism in your recent work?
Let me also clarify this thing. There are many people who talk about material. When you talk of material, it boils down to money.
Money.
Okay. I've written my book also. The people who say money is not important, either they're stupid or they're billionaires. In between, nobody says that. And second thing, money does not bring happiness. So I asked them, does poverty bring you happiness? And if I have to be unhappy, I would rather be unhappy with money than without money.
That's right.
Yeah? So most important thing I want to bring up here is that sadly, many times in the pursuit of money, we lose out the things that money just cannot buy. That's sad. And the most precious things in life, money just cannot buy. So that's one part. And the second thing is, in our leadership program, we tell people that it is the moral obligation of every good human being to become a multi-millionaire and a billionaire. Money in good hands always does good. And money in evil hands always does
Evil.
So it's a moral obligation of a good person to become a multi-billionaire. I was listening on to Ronaldo's life. What a guy. And right from day one, as he started making money, he started helping out people the way you would not even believe. And you know something? There are people, they want to become like Ronaldo, but they don't want to maintain that discipline. They want to achieve that success, but they can't. You can't go against nature's law. And you know what they say? This is the last time when they realize a big chocolate mousse of cake, have it 900 calories. And you know what they say? Oh, just last time. And they have it, but you know that's not last time. They have to do the same thing again and again and again. You know, in my book, also in my programs, we say, look, stop saying this is the last time I've had it. Change the sentence. This is the first time I'm not going to have it.
Oh, lovely.
Reverse it.
Nice.
You will not like it.
Mindset shift.
It changes. This is the first time I'm not going to have it. You keep continuing the one last time. You're gone.
Yeah. I'm going to try that with desserts starting today.
Do that.
So we hear you're working on new books about relationships, parenting, and corruption in governance.
Yes.
What motivated you to choose these topics next?
Well, relationship is one which is close to me. I've seen all over the world how relationships are being broken up. Siblings are fighting between themselves, parent, kids, and so on. Even in the workplaces, people, our colleagues, they are running into all ego problems. So that is a one major issue that I'm talking about. And parenting is another big issue. You talk to parents today, sometimes they invite me to address parents at the Founders Day or whatever. And many times they say to me, Mr. Khera, talk to our kids. The discipline is messed up, values are messed up. I say, no, kids are not messed up. Parents are messed up. You know something, today's parents are scared of their kids. They don't have the guts to say no to their kids. Oh, something psychological will happen. And they just go on. And they are looking at more popularity contests. And you know what they take pride in? I'm like a friend to my kids. Damn it, they need parents. They got enough friends. You're nuts. So need to understand what the hell are we doing. We need to clarify a bunch of things. That's why I'm writing this book on parenting. Because it starts from there. And of course, the corruption part I'm writing because of India. I have office there. That's corruption is rampant there. And the world knows it. It's not you and me. It's not something that I'm bringing up here. In fact, newspaper you invite there, look at it. It says 50% of the people in the parliament have criminal records. I mean, this is how it is. And this was also quoted by the Prime Minister of Singapore. So I'm writing on that one too. That's important.
Absolutely.
And a corrupt nation can never build a great nation. And why do you think Singapore has grown up in this such short time? It has come to the global level, and you can't find a better place than Singapore today. It is called heaven on earth. It's amazing. You know why? Because you got the right values, right leadership. That's what has built the nation. Like at one man, Lee Kuan Yew. What a man. He built this country. He was not playing a popularity contest. He had to take tough decisions. And he was not pleasing everybody. He couldn't please everybody. So he thought country's interest was more important than any personal interest. And that's what it is. You put your country's interest above your own. And that's what it is. Nothing else.
So what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your books and motivational work?
Well, the books and the online programs that I've taken out, that is what I want to leave should continue beyond it. But I'll tell you one thing. Invariably, look through history. After one or two generations, people forget who we are. Through the books and online programs, we are looking at taking it from one generation to the next. It's going to be ongoing, permanent. And these are the books that I'm talking of, including the online academy. We are talking of principles, not tactics. These are principles of success, not tactics of success. Tactics are manipulative. Principles are based on foundation of integrity. They were here before we came. They will be here after we are gone. That's why I'm putting them in.
Beautiful, lovely. One last question before we move on to our rapid fire section. How do you maintain so much humility despite being so popular, so famous, and so well known?
Well, I don't understand how else to be. I mean, the point is, why do you have to put up false mask? And what is there to humble and not humble? Tell me, many times people feel all this I have created. No, I have not created. You see, there were people who helped me in some point in life. Had they not done it, I would be washing cars even today. So you know something, see, somebody contribute to my success, my teachers, my mentors, my parents, somewhere they did it. It is not all mine. So how can I take credit? But yes, our job is to move on and take it to the next generation.
Nice, beautiful. So this is like quick questions and quick answers. What is the single most important attitude for success?
Can-do attitude. I can do it.
Perfect. Which book of yours do you recommend everyone should read first?
You Can Win. There were people who contribute to my life. I have an obligation to take it forward to the next generation.
Beautiful. Who has been your biggest inspiration in life?
I would say my mother, and my biggest inspiration has been the life history of 10 Sikh gurus. They not only had integrity, but they had a courage to fight for integrity. They fought.
Right.
So it doesn't happen without that.
What is your trademark motivational quote in one line?
Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Don't stop here. Winners make the days count, losers count the days.
Lovely. If you were not a motivational speaker, what would you be?
I wouldn't be anything.
Okay. What is one habit everyone should develop for success?
Develop a habit of integrity, commitment, and have the courage to speak up.
Right. How do you define a good person?
Person who is two things with character and competence. Character and competence, both put together, makes a good person.
Nice. How do you stay grounded despite your success?
I don't understand how else to be.
Lovely.
I mean, be your authentic person. Why do you put a false mask?
One piece of advice for today's generation.
Get back to values and learn the value of commitment, and learn only one thing. Learn to give more than what you get in life. But today they become takers. See, learn to give more than what you get. That is a big principle for success. And people anywhere in the world who've done well, they've always lived by this one principle. I shall always give more than what I get to my family. I shall always give more than what I get to my customer. I shall always give more than what I get to my organization. And I will always give more than what I get to my society. That's it.
Lovely. What advice would you give your 25-year-old self?
What I said. How does it change? It doesn't. When I was washing cars for other people, I didn't think it was their car. I looked at my own car. So you got to take ownership.
Beautiful.
It's not a job. Do it properly. Do it right. Take responsibility. Take charge. You're responsible. They trusted you. That's why they gave it to you. Maintain that trust.
Lovely. So it was so inspirational talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you have places to be and things.
Thank you.
Yeah, things to do. And to the viewer watching right now, I know you're super inspired. Go grab his books. I have read so many of them and it's changed the way I think. And that's how you can change your life as well. Keep following us, watching our shows. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we are there. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. See you. Bye-bye. Shalima Motial signing off. You can win. Yes. We will win. Our viewers will win. Everybody's going.